This week's episode is brought to you by Tabletop Backer Party on Facebook, which is the largest board game crowdfunding group on this side of the internet.
Hello everyone, welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter with Gloryhoundd and
DrGloryhogg.
we had some issues there with our YouTube for a second, but hopefully comments are working everywhere. I downloaded some crazy stuff, got some stuff going over there. Hopefully, do we have anybody on Facebook? Do we have Facebook comments? If you're on Facebook, make comments. So, today we're going to be talking about Fossilis, Tiny Epic Dinos, Roam and Roll, and Calico. And Greg is not here with us today because Stephanie is sick, the ghost host.
A tiny person in his house is sick.
Oh, a tiny person in his house is sick, which is no good. You never want a tiny person in the house sick. All right.
I don't know what you want me to be doing right now. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm looking at stuff.
Yay, Facebook testing. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that.
There we go.
Now we need a YouTube test. We went ahead and started up with the Skull Hollow, so that was embarrassing. I hate it whenever that sort of thing happens.
I don't think it wasn't anything like you did.
Yeah, it was some setting issues that we had. So, what game are you most excited about talking about today? DrGloryhogg. Any giveaways? No?
It's the cat one for sure. It's not the cat
Since you're
one.
so allergic to everything, that's going to be good. All right, let's pull up our first game we got here. First up, we have Fossilis. This is by Kids Table Board Games. This is for 2 to 4 players. It's going to last for about 45 minutes. This was an interesting game that I saw at Gen Con, and they have like this little plastic device that you end up putting all the bones into, and I actually like the way that they solve the bone issue with all those being distributed in there. They have like a topper that you put on, you shake it, and then you put a little sheet down there and you lay all the tiles on top, and then you pull the sheet out, and it makes it so you don't know what's underneath all of those tiles there. And then you have the dirt tiles, which are on top, that you move your meeples onto, and you can move those dirt piles around to kind of like dig through and uncover things underneath. And those bones are particular things that you're trying to collect for points and VP points on cards and everything. So, Gloryhogg, what were your first impressions of this game?
I think it looks really cool. Like, if nothing else, this is the first one where you're like digging for bones, and where you actually kind of felt like you were actually digging or doing something to uncover bones. Because usually it's just like, I found a bone, or I pull a bone out of a bag, or this one actually felt like, okay, I got to do things to remove these tiles and look underneath and actually find bones, and then you get to actually pick them out like you're playing Operation or something. So I thought all that looked very, very cool.
Like Operation, without like the stressfulness of accidentally getting shocked, and then I don't know why that's so stressful in Operation. Like whenever you're picking those things out, it's like, ooh, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's the buzz sound. Is what it is. If there was no buzz sound, it wouldn't be a big deal. But
You think
like
it's the buzz sound or the fact that the entire thing vibrates?
Yeah.
It scares me every time.
Well,
I'm so
between
glad
the
that's
two
not the
things,
issue.
I mean, like, yeah, it's going to freak you out.
Why is that a kid's game, guys? I don't feel like that should be a kid's game.
But this could be a kid's game.
This could be a kid's game.
There's no buzzing in this one, right?
No, there's no buzzing in this
Okay.
one. You don't have to worry about possibly getting
clear,
shocked or anything.
I don't want to. Yeah, I feel like I'm
one.
gonna get shot. The funny thing about this one is it's not even Fossils. It's like Fossilis.
Fossilis, yeah.
There's an
that's
extra
right.
I in there,
Mm-hmm.
and so like trying to search it on BGG and stuff on Board Game Geek was like I couldn't find it. I'm like, why am I not finding this? Like obviously I know it's on there, and it was like, oh, there's an extra I in there after the last L.
That's a really good thing to point out because I think I went through the same process, but I keep calling it fossils as well, you know? So, like, that's going to be an issue with that. But I think there's one thing in the game, and I remember going through this with everybody at the table when we were looking at it. I feel like this game, they're kind of marketing it as like, okay, this is going to be a kid's game. It's going to be really cute and stuff. But I feel like there's a lot of room for like that back and forth between adult players and stuff, because you can essentially like cover up other people's dig sites and stuff.
Right,
and
by taking a material that will push onto somebody else's area.
Right. And I know at the time when I was talking to people, I don't know if this is still a thing, you can like push people off and like bury people and stuff because
Oh,
like
really?
if there's an empty site, like you can move those
Shut up.
in
You
there.
can really like knock somebody into an empty grave.
Well, what happens
and
then,
just
right?
kind of cover them up.
Because if somebody's on that second tier there and then
Okay.
you move the land over and there's an empty spot there, like you shove them into a dig spot. And then if you shove it again, like, won't it cover them up?
Can you bury people alive? Which
Hello,
is true.
Battlecry. Thank you for joining us.
I just got done just got done listening to the audiobook Frenemies that talks about like rivals and frenemies, and they talked about the great bone wars and how these two guys were just petty, and
Oh my gosh.
they got the government involved and like they confiscate all the bones, and all kinds of personal wealths were built up on this stuff, and yeah, it was intense.
And what do our viewers think about this particular game? Because it is set up, like I said, to be sort of like a kids style game, but I feel like there's a lot of cutthroatness that is built into this game that people are not aware of.
Plus there's the whole like museum part of it too, where you're trying to kind of build out your museum collection. Like that whole tableau that you've got going on is kind of interesting. I feel like that's where all the real gameplay is going to be, that and then the moving, of course, of the different materials around.
When I had originally seen this, they didn't have that dig site lid there to... you were like shaking them up in your hand and then like kind of distributing them without looking. But I love this dig site lid where you throw all the pieces in there and then you just shake it and then you like put the little piece under there. I'll have to show you guys. It's down here further.
I really like that though. It looks like that's really cool that they do that, because I thought you were just putting them in there and you would know what was under the tiles. I didn't realize that you were like randomly putting them in there. So you really do have to dig and hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh, absolutely. Like you don't know what's exactly under there. And Jimmy says it looks like a custom tray, Bakelite tiles, neat components. I agree. The components are so cool. The tiny dino bones in this game, seeing them in person is the coolest freaking looking thing. They're so detailed,
Isn't
guys.
this thing only like $40 US too?
It is 52. It's 52.
I thought it was less US though, because I think that's Canadian.
Oh, is it? I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back up and
When
look.
you scroll up, I think it is. Like I thought it was pretty cheap for what. Oh, there it is.
Here it is, right here. And then you put that in there, and you don't know exactly what's under there.
Okay, that's pretty.
That was
pretty
like
smooth.
the perfect solve to that issue there, I thought.
That's pretty smooth. That's pretty smooth.
Right?
I
Yeah.
like that actually. Yeah. Okay.
Then
That's
nobody
pretty
knows
cool.
what's under there. There's not one person that's having to set up like just drop a few in here, a few in here.
So you
It's
got
like
to see more of
random.
the play of like the other aspects of it besides the Kickstarter. I think everyone can kind of figure out how this works, where you're spending energy to take tiles off and hopefully find pieces, and then you can add those pieces to your museum. Can you tell me anything about the museum or the cards? Like, did you get to see any of that in action, or?
I didn't get to see the museum or the cards because this was at a dinner that I was at when I was looking at
so
it.
they just
But
had like the toy part of it.
yeah, they
not
had the toy part of it, and they kind of explained how it would go. I didn't get an actual playthrough of the game, but it looks freaking cool. It just needs to buzz when you touch the sides. Yeah, we had mentioned that earlier. Battlecry.
What I do think is interesting is that once you do enough actions, you take the white cubes off, and that triggers an event. And then you would refill it, and you trigger another event, and then you refill it, and you trigger another event. And I think that's kind of how they time it out, is based off of you removing those things, the plaster, removing the plaster, and then triggering events. And that's kind of how Endgame is scored out, I think. Like when Endgame was triggered, I believe.
I think this is going to be a surprise game that you end up playing. You end up getting like, okay, I'm going to get this for kids and stuff like that because it's kids table board gaming and stuff.
Right.
And you're thinking, oh, okay, this is like made for this age range, and then you're going to get it and you're going to be like, all right, this is kind of cool.
I definitely feel like I'm just scratching the surface of this by watching the videos and everything. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I feel like without a play, it's really hard for me to judge this particular one.
The depth of how
Yeah.
the mechanics of play are going to go. Yeah. No, I
'Cause
completely agree.
It looks really, really cool. I like how they've got it set up. I like how it's very thematic. I just want to know, like, am I going to enjoy that part of it? Like, getting the different actions and getting, building out the museum. Like, I know you've got limited spaces for that, and then you're trying to kind of build out the dinosaurs and which ones you've got, and they're worth more points if you have a complete dinosaur versus
So
a
you're
partial.
super down like the set collection portion of it.
Well, I just want to know, like, it looks good. I just need to know how it all works together.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like,
that makes sense.
I like all the different parts separate of each other. I just don't know if when you mix it all together, does it actually feel like a good, fun experience, or is there something that's going to feel like it's missing or too light or something like that?
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, the theme looks very strong, at least, says Jimmy. So is this going to be like a try before you buy?
For me, it has to be.
Really?
Yeah, I have to.
Really?
Because if it's $40, like I think it is, that it might be worth it just for the toy factor.
I was going to say, for $40, I feel like it pays for the toy factor alone, and then you're also getting the game that...
I just don't know if I just need to know if the gameplay is going to be strong enough that I'm like, this has to stay in our shelf.
Okay.
And that's what we're worried about. Like, I'm sure I'll enjoy it, but I'm like, is it going to be one?
Well, is there
one
any
of-
other game that you can think of that is like this? I mean, that's the big thing. Hey, Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
No, not off the top of my head. I mean, obviously the theme
Yeah, but I
I've
think
seen
there's
before, but not like with
a
this.
really there's a real uniqueness to this particular game in digging and that abstract tile movement and then the set collection with it. Like, okay, yeah, we've done set collection before, but that abstract movement to dig with,
Mhm.
like that's interesting.
Well, for anybody who wants to know, Greg did say this is on his tempted list.
Tempted list.
said
Is
he
that
was-
what he said?
He said he was tempted by 2 of them, and this is one of the ones he is tempted by,
Oh, that's funny.
which I think is his try before he buys.
his try before he buys
Yeah.
one. I'm gonna say I'm all in on this one. I thought
Are you, for
that
sure?
yeah, I thought that the digging aspects of it were really interesting, and then I'm excited to try out the cutthroat gameplay version of that.
Yeah, I guess my hesitancy is this going to be something that's just going to be fun to play with our 9-year-old and like casual gamers, or is it going to be something I'm going to want to play with like Greg and Stephanie and like other content creators and stuff? Is this going to be something I'm going to want to bring over and introduce to my other gaming friends that like Magic or that like D&D? Like, is this going to bridge that gap, or is it going to end up just being like light, good-hearted fun, but nothing that's ever exciting to play with like other gaming adults? Does that make sense?
I think it's gonna be like light, good-hearted fun, but also have like possibly another level to it with that, you know. But I don't think you can go much further past that lighthearted fun and then like that extra layer of like the abstract movement, because you still don't know what bones are underneath there, so you don't have perfect knowledge of anything. You're discovering things.
Which I'm
Some
okay
of
with
that is
I
chance.
like that actually.
Yeah, some of that is chance and everything. So that portion of it can't truly be strategic unless you're trying to like bump people around to get to things and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I just don't know. Is this gonna be a tall, a grande, or a vente? I'm gonna use that for everything now. So vente being a heavy game, grande being kind of mid, which I'm a grande player. I kind of like games that are fairly easy to get into, but has enough depth that like you feel like you want to replay it to discover more or try different strategies or do different things. And then light, I don't mind light, but I like those typically more just as party games. They're like light or social deduction or
And
something.
what do our viewers think? Like, how do you guys feel about this game? Is
What
this
do you
a
think?
instant back for you guys?
This is the best use of your time today to
Michael
be on
says-
this stream.
Yeah, Michael says the game looks so good. I agree with you, Michael. Like, I think it's going to be fantastic, and I'm so excited to really work with that puzzle, the dig puzzle on there. That's my favorite part of the game is just that dig puzzle.
Yeah, and that looks interesting. Like I said, I want to know how the rest of it works and if it feels like it's a good fit together.
Yeah,
that
with
makes
the
sense.
set collection and the dig
So
puzzle.
for this week, you thought this was going to be my instant win? Like you thought I was going to be all in on this one? I'm just
No.
curious.
No, I
What-
don't know.
what
I
is your
didn't think about
prediction?
it. I didn't think about it.
Oh, you didn't really think about
No.
it? Okay.
No, and Battlecry says I have to play it first, so another have to play. Try before you buy. Huh. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
But
I was interested to hear
Hopefully
other people's.
we'll get to see like they'll be at conventions and everything else. You know, like,
Yeah.
I would have tried to like. I think the difference is, and I know you were super busy at Gen Con because you were there with another entity, with Steve Jackson Games, so you couldn't sit because you know you've got breaks and all that kind of stuff and other things you're scheduled to do. But this is one that like I would have sat down to actually play
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I'm like I would need to know more about this.
If I had the time, I would have played this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, moving on, guys. Moving on, we have dinos, and more dinos.
It's definitely my thematic pick, I would say.
It's your thematic pick?
Yeah.
Okay. So next up is Tiny Epic Dinosaurs by Gamelyn Games. This is for 1 to 4 players. It's going to last about 45 minutes. This is like, what, Dinosaur Island in a tiny box with simplified
But
rules.
more like
and
Dinogenics because you have like actual pens
Yeah.
and stuff, it looks like. But also more of like an Agricola type of like ranching, farming game too with worker placement and
The really
it's
interesting
like a lot of different things.
part of this is the fact that I feel like they've simplified a lot of like the rules in these types of games and made it into like a very simple process to go through. Like you collect your
Like
stuff.
it's just fun to play because it's like easy to get into or
Right,
okay.
exactly. So like you collect, you know, your resources there and then then you move over to where you're going to be buying things on this meeple map here where you're
And they
doing
always
worker placement,
they
you
always
know.
do the resource track. That's very
Right.
iconic with the Tiny Epic games.
And then you come back and you're going to place your dinosaurs and build pens and stuff like that, and then you check to see if anybody's broken out. And I feel like
You also check to see if anyone's made babies.
oh yeah,
you
and
got
you check
two of
to
the
see if
same-
anybody's made babies.
If you got two of the same type of dinosaurs and you hear like some light jazz going, you're like, oh, I think we're
oh
hatching some
yeah.
babies. So I thought that was cute.
Well, I just like I said, I feel like they've simplified a lot of the gameplay or aspects of those particular types of games, you know?
Okay.
And Michael says, backed and battle cry. Well, we made battle cry laugh. It was that, oh yeah.
It's the smooth jazz, a little bit of
The
90s
smooth,
R&B.
smooth jazz,
And
yeah,
I
that's right.
swear by the moon. I'm sorry, I won't keep singing.
Yeah, and so the dinosaur meeples too are just adorable, guys. Like, they're so tiny and they're so cute. Like, they did such a good job with the tiny cute dinosaur meeples. I'm so excited about that part. And I mean, I really enjoy worker placement style games. What do you think?
So I have two very distinct opinions on this one.
Okay.
I generally really like the Tiny Epic games.
Yes.
Just in general. And so I'm actually super excited about this game.
Because
the
you
only-
love dinosaur games.
And then I like dinosaurs, which is like another thematic win. Because there's been other themes that they did. Like I really like Tiny Epic Galaxies, but I didn't like the theme as much. Here's the only thing I don't like about it. Is I don't really like the art in this one as much. This is my least
that's
favorite
not-
art.
That's not the first time I've heard that, guys.
Because it's like a weird like kiddish anime style, I think it is. Like is it not Animal Crossing? I don't I like the dinosaurs
Animal
look
Crossing,
fine.
yeah, I think.
It's the people. I don't like the people in it, and I don't know why. Like
Mhm.
most of their stuff is geared more towards adults, or has been like this is kind of based off of like Zelda-esque like elves and stuff. So it's kiddish, but those two right there, I feel like maybe they almost
You're
look like the
ranchers.
Pokemon characters.
You're supposed to be ranchers.
You know,
You're
they remind me
dinosaur
of,
ranchers.
these remind me of the Pokemon Go
Mhm.
like trainers and stuff, where they're kind of like super stylized, like, hey guys, like it's all about the might of your
So
Pokédinos.
Michael says, I wish they would have changed the color scheme, which is interesting. That's along the same styles as the art, and it looks like Dinosaur Island and Dinogenics had a love baby, and I agree with that.
So Michael,
Like-
here's what happened. So when we checked at the end of the round, we had Dinogenics and then we had Dinosaur Island in the same pen, and there was some light R&B going from the 90s. And then when we woke up the next morning, there was an egg and out hatched Tiny Epic Dinosaurs.
It looks
That's
like
how baby games are made.
the art in it looks like they combined Land Before Time with, I think you're right, that
More like that Pokemon
Pokemon
Go style,
Go style.
or the new Pokemon style, where
Yeah.
it's very like. I don't know what that's, so I just don't particularly like that style as much. That's the only thing. But like the art of the dinosaurs, I think is fine. The art on the boards is fine. It's just like the main characters. So I don't know how big of a distraction that's going to be. That's only on the outside of the box.
I was gonna say, I
right?
think
Like,
it's just on the outside of the box.
'Cause,
It's
like,
not
I
like
don't
you have
mind
a
any
bunch
of
of
this.
character cards and stuff
Yeah.
like that with everybody on
and
them.
I don't mind the dinosaurs being cutesy. I guess I just don't like little cutesy humans. I don't like when they try to make cutified humans. Does that make sense, or am I being crazy? Because it's like they try to cutify a human, and like
It's
we already
that
have-
slightly anime-ish with the big eyes
Yeah.
and everything.
there
Yeah.
already is a cute version of humans, and it's babies, and then that's it.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's supposed to draw people more because they look more like babies because they have big eyes. Like,
Yeah, but I'm not down with those babies. I put those babies away.
oh, you're only down with dinosaur babies? Is that it?
Dinosaur babies, human babies, puppy babies.
Oh, you just ruined it for Battle Cry. Wait, the board game stork didn't bring them. My parents lied to me all this time.
No, they still after the light jazz. Then the stork comes by and picks up the eggs and delivers it to a worthy
okay.
family that loves them. When a daddy board game loves a mommy board game, essentially what happens is
I wish that's how our collection would grow because we would have all sorts of board games then.
if we just turning off the lights in the living room would cause like some kind of crazy baby boomer population explosion. It'd be intense.
And
We would call it the Roaring 20s.
oh gosh. So also, you know, Gamelyn Games does an amazing job on all these stretch goals. They always have fantastic looking games, fantastic looking pieces. It's the best bang for your buck. Like that
Oh.
$20 goes a long, long way,
and then
guys.
and what I really like that Gamelyn does is that I'm sorry if I was cutting you off, is that they always do a deluxe version, but it's like a $5 difference.
Yeah.
So they're like $20 or $25, and that the extra $5 usually gets you so much more that it's just like I've never got one of their games at just the regular level.
Plus, they have the laboratory expansion, which I'm so excited about. Every dinosaur-themed game needs a laboratory and needs evil scientists.
So I have 2 picks this week that I'm excited about, and this is actually one of them. I feel like you're going to get a lot of play out of this game. So far, all the Tiny Epic games that we've played, I feel like I just don't get enough time to play them. I never feel like I get, oh man, I'm worn out, or oh, I figured out all the strategies. There's always more to it. Like I feel like I'm constantly going like, why don't we just have a day where we go back and play some of our Tiny Epics? Because there's just so many, and I think they just get overlooked because they're so tiny sometimes. But it's also some of their greatest strength that you can have a really great game in this tiny box. It's very easy to take with. I will say I have never gone to a convention without bringing a Tiny Epic game with me.
Oh, yeah.
Every board game convention I've ever gone to, I've always had a Tiny Epic game in my car, in my bag, somewhere just in case. In
so
case
easy
there was
to bring.
nothing else, or there's some downtime or whatever, or somebody wanted to try. Like I always bring the latest Tiny Epic game with me because they're always fun. They're super compact. They're generally pretty easy to get into, and yeah, I'm a big fan of the company in general.
I feel like this one has very streamlined rules out of the majority of them. More like streamlined like Galaxies is, where it's just really simple to read and get into and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But but Galaxies is like one of their best ones by
yeah.
far.
Oh no, absolutely.
I mean, obviously, I haven't played like their newest one.
And Jimmy says, "What could go wrong with the lab?" I don't know. Like, I mean, anything, right? We could.
Yeah. Still gene modification.
Yeah, we could merge. What is it? Frogs and dinosaurs.
Yeah,
dogs and dinosaurs.
Why not? Yeah,
I want a dinosaur dog.
What about a dogosaur?
We could make our dog into a dinosaur.
Isn't that what Dino was in the Flintstones? Was a dogosaur?
A dogosaur, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, this is totally fine,
it's
guys.
Pet. You make them into like a small size, and you make them into a pet.
You know, what would be the ultimate dinosaur?
What
Combination would be a cat and a raptor.
Oh no!
Because it would be fluffy like a cat, but then it would also have the killer instinct combined of both parents.
Both murder parents.
It
yeah.
would be like the most. It would take over the world.
They need a movie about that, about like cat dinosaurs being the most murderous animal in the world, and just like a whole bunch of them like come together and just take people out.
Well, you know why cats
they all have to be like this big, like cat size.
Somebody figured out why cats are always so angry is because they're the most lethal animal on the planet, but they're so small and fluffy that we still pick them up and we're like, but they're like the deadliest animal on the planet. So that's why they always are angry and they're knocking our stuff off and everything. Because if they were just a little bit bigger, they would rule the world.
All
Oh
right.
my God, I summoned our dog. He's over here trying to jump up in my lap.
It was all the kisses you were doing.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
He got excited. He's like, let's do this.
A capitor, a rat, ratter,
Yeah,
a rat,
a rator.
just a rat.
Ratter.
I don't know.
Next week
on Sci-Fi, Catosaurus.
Catosaurus Rex. You gotta throw some Rexes in there.
Oh my gosh.
There's a Cornish Rex.
That's right.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
All right. So, would you back this?
Yeah. $25. Yeah. This is. So when these come up, it's always hard to not just back it multiple times because they're like great gifts too. So you're like, why not just back it twice? Give one to somebody on Christmas or whatever holiday you're celebrating or for their birthday. It's. Yeah, these are always a win. I keep thinking I'm gonna pass on one of these one day on the Kickstarter and then just like actually pick it up from them when I see them at a booth. But I always just end up backing them on Kickstarter.
Jimmy already has it figured out. A giant laser pointer can save us.
He's got some serious contingency plans built out. I'm sure he has food like in PVC pipes buried in his backyard so he can like come back to them. And
oh, that's fantastic.
Jimmy's a prepper.
All right, let's move on.
Doomsday prepper, Jimmy.
All right.
We're moving on. We're rolling on.
That's right. We are rolling
Let's
on.
roll on, guys.
We have Roam and Roll by
Time to roam.
PSC Games. This is for 1 to 4 players. It lasts about 60 to 90 minutes. This is a roll and write style game that if you have not seen the video for this, it has the most epic music with like the most ridiculous like them doing this is the most intense thing happening in this video with the music. It is crazy. Like I loved that portion of it. It just made me laugh so much. But I also like the fact that on this particular roll and write style game, everybody doesn't have different boards. You have one board that you're all kind of solidifying on and that you're building roads on and you're trying to make buildings on, and then each person has a different faction with different, well, it's asymmetrical. They have different things that they're going after to have for win conditions, you know? And I know you're not a huge fan of roll and write games, DrGloryhogg, but what did you think of this one?
I think we should back it. It hurts me to say this. It's got so much going on to it.
I'm so happy right now.
I didn't. I assumed that I would look at this and be like, cool, roll and write, and I would just move on. The problem I have with most roll and writes is I'm usually trying to pick out like what makes this one different than the other ones. Oh, this one flips, or this one rolls, or this one's, I don't know. Like, what's the slight difference in this one that's going to make it enjoyable at least a little bit? This is like a 90-minute game.
Yeah.
This is like a Euro.
No,
This is
yeah.
like a Euro with a roll and write incorporated into it.
Right.
So, like, I'm very confused by this one. It makes me, like, I want to not want this, but I kind of do want this. It's so weird that it's like a roll and write inside of a Euro that you want to talk about making babies. This is like making babies, making pretty babies. It's, I don't even know what to do with this. I'm so confused. Like, I don't even know why I like this. I just know that I'm so intrigued by it that I will be upset if we don't back it.
Our listeners are shocked right now. Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hell froze over.
Everybody knows I'm not a big fan of it. I think part of it, too, is that you're all working on kind of the same board, so that makes it kind of more competitive. But then also the fact that you have, like, your own things, like your own goals, which makes me feel more like a civilization game, makes me feel like you're doing something more like, Seventh Wonders or something, where you got your own kind of objective that you're going for. And then there's, like, I don't know.
I like the fact that on this board here, you're trying to draw your buildings in different provinces in this like top portion of there, and everybody's kind of sharing those areas, but then you're also trying to create roads between the different cities and stuff on that bottom portion there. So you're having to like split those aspects while also sharing both of those boards with everybody at the table, because this goes up to 4 players, right? Yeah, 4 players. Yeah. And that is, like you said, extremely intriguing. It's so interesting.
I'm just so confused.
Don't you besmirch the bacon pancake song? Making pancakes.
Making bacon pancakes. Making pancakes. That's, if you look it up on YouTube, Making Bacon Pancakes or Adventure
best
Time
ever
mixed with New York, it's like a perfect combination, like that song with the made-up song, and it's just, it's
so
ridiculous.
Good.
So, yeah, I'm so confused by this. Like, I don't even really know who I am anymore. Like, should I quit my job?
Who are you?
Should I shave my head? I don't.
And
what is happening?
Jimmy says it seems like a long time frame for a roll and write, though.
But I feel like the roll and write is like a portion of it. Like, just it's like when most Euros they have like, okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this thing over here, and I'm doing this thing over here, and then overall point salad wise, I'm going to make my points off of these different things. I feel like the roll and write is just like one tiny aspect of it. Like when you play something like Carpe Diem, the movement and what you're doing and what you collect is just one tiny aspect of where you're placing it on your own board, and then what bonuses you're going to score based off of that. And
here's the
it's
thing:
just so much more into it.
Is the rolling portion of it is the drafting portion for what you need in order to get your turn going, which I think is the interesting part.
Right. So like in Seven Wonders, the drafting is like kind of how you get the resources or how you build your civilizations.
Right.
Like the roll and write is just like kind of a part of how you build the overall civilization, but the overall game is going to be this civilization
building game,
thing, right?
And
like I said, I'm really confused too, guys. I don't even know why. I was shocked. I was like, I knew I'd probably like Tiny Epic, but I had no idea that this was going to be something that was interesting to me. And I just started watching the video, and I was just like, do I like this? What is this? I'm like, I don't think there's going to be too much going on. I just...
You don't think so?
It kind of made me feel almost a little bit like Tapestry, kind of the idea of like kind of having the different roles that you're kind of going for,
different things you're specializing
but
and going
you have like the central boards you're working on together, and I don't think it's going to have too much going on. I mean, I hope it all works well together. Obviously, I haven't played it, but I'm intrigued enough that I want to give it a shot.
I think that the asymmetrical gameplay is what's really going to drive this particular game, because if you have every different faction going for something different and a different way to score their points,
trying to do something different on that roll and write board,
right?
You're trying to do something else different on there,
right?
That's where I think a lot of the play is going to be. But it's not super cutthroat either, where I'm not like, I'm blocking you, and now you people get no water, and they die of thirst.
Well, you could do some portions
of
it, but
if
not.
Rado says that he likes it because there's not a whole bunch of like cutthroat competition to it.
Yeah,
that means you can definitely play it without that.
Okay.
Because he's usually very aware of that cutthroat nature, because it's not the style of game he likes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's usually like, hey, this is very cutthroat. I don't typically like that. It's definitely one of his pain points in a game.
I'm so excited about this game, guys. Like, you guys don't even know. Because it combines that roll and write style of game, the little polyomino sort of fitting things in, and then civilization building on top of it. That's like win, win, win.
And
check.
I think that's what sells me on is that civilization. I am willing to work for like an hour or 2 hours to build a civilization and feel like I'm doing something.
Right.
The problem I have with some Euros is I'm just pushing cubes around and there's not really any reason for it. But if I feel like I'm building something or accomplishing something or I have a goal I'm working towards besides just points, then it actually becomes more fun.
And I like the fact that all of these items here are dry erase. We're not dealing with all those paper pieces and stuff. You have one board, it's dry erase. Like, there's been energy put into making this a game where I don't have to go out and get things laminated and worry about, oh, what happens if these get wet or something. Like, I don't know, because I worry about ridiculous things like that. So
She does. We have a lot of lamination.
I have so many laminated sheets of things, guys.
Our bed is laminated. You jump on, you just slide right off.
Whee!
It's a lot. Our cat's laminated.
If you put water on there, you can. It's like a slip and slide, right? No?
I don't think she's been on a slip and slide. There's more than just water on a smooth surface. You also need something to reduce friction.
So then
It's
you
like-
put soap on there,
There you
right?
go.
There you go.
Then you're
Water
good.
and soap. Water and soap,
You need to have
guys.
smooth.
That's how you slide down a slip and slide.
There you go.
Papa was a cube pusher in the cube mines. That's no life for his children.
That's true. I don't even think my dad would actually enjoy a Euro game, surprisingly. I don't think he would.
Probably not.
But, I mean, his all-time game was Monopoly, so who knows?
And then they have tons of upgrades coming on this. There's going to be lots of little...
Are those actual miniatures that are going to be in it?
They are. So in your little buildings and providences that you're building and stuff in there, you can set your meeple there. I'm not sure exactly why you set it there, if it's like ownership
To
of that
claim it or
providence or
something,
claiming.
probably.
Yeah, but the meeples that they've added for this, or I'm sorry, not meeples, the minis that they've added for this are really awesome. I'm excited about that. Like, it just adds, I mean, meeples are cool, but having the Roman style miniatures on the boards and stuff is going to be so much fun. It's going to be really cute. But I am a back for this. This is like an insta back for me. I'm going to back it like as soon as we get off this.
And surprisingly, obviously, I'm into it. Greg, yeah, you didn't really have any thoughts on it.
Really?
Yep, no
Really?
thoughts, which you
No
would have thought that he would have
thoughts,
been
really?
on board and stuff. But Greg is wrong a lot. So
Well, you know what? Greg is wrong a lot. I mean, he was wrong not to be here today, so
he's
I mean,
just plain wrong a lot.
All right, our final game for today, Calico. This is by Flat Out Games. It's for 1 to 4 players. This is going to last about 45 minutes. This is a tile placement game. It reminds me a little bit kind of Patchwork, except not as like heavy with the polyomino style.
Right,
you know,
'cause
it's easier to
Patchwork,
fit everything in there.
Right, because these are the exact same shapes.
Right,
They're never
exactly.
different.
This is more about creating sets of things, though, in your quilt and then collecting points based off of those sets. So matching color sets are going to give you button points. Matching certain types of sets are going to give you cats that you can put on your little quilt there to lay down and give you points. And then you have like little tiles on there that also are specialized tiles that give you points overall for certain aspects that you're trying to work for. What were your first thoughts of this game, Dr. Gloryhogg?
I
That's
don't-
not great.
I don't. So Patchwork being the one exception, I have never played a quilt-related game that I've enjoyed.
To be fair, you've only played 2 quilt-related
That's
games,
not true.
right?
I played Quilt Show. I played Patchwork. I played Patchwork Roll and Write. And
We
there's
don't count the roll and write.
There's another.
We don't count the roll
There was
and write.
another quilt game I played too. I thought. Quilt Masters? I don't know. Quilt Masters of the Universe. It was
Quilt
something.
Masters of the
Who
Universe.
knows? There was another quilt. I know I played another quilt game where I was like,
Quilting.
am I building a blanket here?
Quilting time and space together.
I'm like, why am I building a blanket? So the theme definitely didn't sell me with just the cats and a
Listen,
blanket. That doesn't sell me.
cats on a blanket is the best theme ever.
No, not really. I generally don't like to recreate things I could just do in my own house.
You just
I
put your
could-
cat on a
I
blanket. You're
could
like,
put
oh.
my cat on our bedspread and be like, cool.
But it's
alright.
not a quilted bedspread.
But that's not
so
a game, though, is it?
It could be.
Putting
If
my
we
cat
got more
on the quilt?
cats, we could go ahead and put them on there,
And
and,
then
and
we
it
were
could
trying
be a
to
game.
match them by color or something. I don't know. Yes,
Well-
by the power of Grade School, I have a blanket.
Oh, that's all. See, look there's a cat right there on the quilt.
Yep, cats doing what they do, just being jerks. Hey, you're playing a game here? Let me come stand on it. If a human did that, you would be mad at them. You'd be like, "Get off my game!" But a cat doesn't. You're like, "Oh,
you're so
she just
cute.
wants to be part of the family."
my
No, she's a
goodness.
jerk. She's in there like,
You
"You
can
can't
have that
stop me."
board. You can have the board.
No, what she does, she comes in there and she's like, "You can't stop me. Do something." And she knows you can't. You can't do anything. You just have to love them. Not a fan.
So you're not a fan of this tile laying set collection game? No?
Yeah, no. Do I like other tile laying set collection games?
No, I was just asking.
Yeah, I'm
like,
trying to think if I do or not. Because we played Boomto, and I
I
wasn't super huge fan of that one either.
thought that this one, since you don't have like the mechanics of fitting things together, that simplifies it a little bit with that. And I thought you would like it more because of that.
I don't mind the polyomino aspect of it though.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me not like it. I probably would prefer polyomino over just a regular
This
tile.
has so much cuteness involved in it, guys. Look at all those buttons and
Why
those
couldn't
cats.
this have been you're making scale mail and then you're trying to
Oh,
lure
little
dragons
dragons.
to lay on the scale mail?
The dragons make
I'm just
everything
saying.
better. Oh my gosh.
Or like at least a lizard. I don't know, something.
Oh, so cute.
No,
that
I
would
mean,
be
I
adorable.
get what they were going with the theme. It's a cute theme and everything, but it's just not a theme that appeals to me. It's too real world based. Like I said, I kind of like either historically based or things I can't normally do. I don't want to be a plumber in a game. I don't want to be an accountant
Well, you
in a
played
game.
Super Mario Brothers.
But those plumbers were like jumping on walking mushrooms. Whatever those plumbers did, they were
Whoa,
in a whole different way.
Walking mushrooms.
The Goombas.
They're
like
not
little
walking
mushrooms.
mushrooms. They're Goombas.
Yeah,
Goombas
but
have feelings too.
They weren't
God.
they weren't out there just hitting pipes. They were out there like turning into the power of like they turned into like the Dark Phoenix and started throwing
What about-
fireballs out of their mouth.
What about Pipeworks?
What, the toys?
The game. Pipeworks. You know, you put all the pipes together.
I don't think I've ever played that.
Oh my gosh.
Probably
Never
for a reason.
mind. What about a mixologist?
See, I would do that because I cannot mix strings for crap in real life. So that as a game is fine.
You would feel rewarded. You'd be like, haha, I made the best
Well, because I'd feel like I'm learning something.
best tequila sunrise.
I'd be like, oh, so this is what's in a mojito. Like, I would be like, and then I would feel like I could do it then.
So you just do it based on like the alcoholic knowledge of like being able to then
Yeah,
create
I would
drinks
be
in real
excited
life.
about being able to do it. Listen, I watch Cocktail. I want to be able to throw bottles up in the air and catch them behind my back
Oh
and
my gosh.
woo the women by spinning bottles like on my finger. What?
I don't think that happened
He does
like
all
that.
stuff. Tom Cruise did it all in the 80s and 90s.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that.
Before he
That
got
cracks
crazy.
me up, that picture. And there's a solo mode. That's always cool. I like solo modes in games. Well, for this game, I like tile laying puzzle building games, and it has cats in it, so I was super excited to play it.
I'm not surprised.
I think too it's like $29, guys.
yeah,
All of the games
are fairly
are
inexpensive.
very reasonably priced this round because we had one that was like Fossilis, which was in that 50 range. We had Tiny Epic Dinos, which is 20 range.
Fossilis.
Yeah, 37 for Roman Roll, and Calico, which was about 29. So like that was everything.
That's true.
Yeah, like I think for me this is like a
You
all
would get
back
everything?
an all back
Really?
week, I think.
I disagree.
I'm excited. And plus, some of these games, like, okay, if you had to choose between the Fossilis or a Calico, like, which would you choose?
Fossilis for sure.
Well, that's an excellent family game that you would go ahead and play with family, or maybe bring in the non-gamers who have, like, that aspect of, like, wanting to get excited about something, you know?
Right, yeah, I would go with Fossilis.
Yeah. What are you doing right now?
I'm looking to see
Are
how
you
much-
backing right now?
No, I was actually curious to see exactly how much it actually was.
All right, we'll go back. We'll go back.
for
Hold on,
Fossilis, 'cause
guys.
I thought
Hold
it
on,
was
guys.
cheaper. I thought I saw it, and I might be wrong.
Okay, you're right. That is the Canadian dollar on that.
Which
so
is
it was
significantly different. It's about 40 US, right?
something. I can't tell on here. It's too small for me.
Let's see if I-
But then that makes like everything $40 or lower, and with two of them in like that $20-ish range. So I'm super down with that. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't back all of them. I would probably back the first three.
the first three and not Calico.
Yeah.
You want the cats to the wind. Are you even going to play Calico with me?
Well, you know, I always will play it, but doesn't mean I'm going to be super excited about it. Like, for me, my list goes Tiny Epic for sure. Tiny Epic
Okay.
Dinosaurs. I have to see what's going on with this Rome one. I'm so
Roman Roll for
perplexed by
sure.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's your favorite one on here?
Tiny Epic Dinos, I think.
Tiny Epic Dinos? Okay. I
But
wish
it's also so inexpensive. It's almost like a no-brainer. So like, So then I almost kind of put it to the side as like, that's just going to get backed. Like, I don't even really think about it.
So, Michael, I wish we were coming to Unplugged. I haven't heard any word on it yet. It was one that we wanted to go to, but since I changed jobs and everything, like, we didn't want to expend money for us to go down there without, like, usually we'll end up going with a company and helping them out and stuff like that, and that helps pay for us going out there. So
Right.
we were not able to go to PAX Unplugged, or at least as
We
of
don't-
right
yeah,
now.
I was gonna
As
say,
of right
now,
now.
we don't have plans for it.
Right. If it doesn't mean we don't want to go.
Yeah.
If somebody did approach us and was like, "Hey, come and help us out," at PAX Unplugged, we'd totally be down for that because it's an excellent convention that I'd like to go to. But
It's far. It's not on the
yeah,
West Coast. So it gets kind of pricey.
it does get kind of pricey because of plane tickets and stuff like
Mhm.
that on that time and that time of year and everything. So, anything else? So, Tiny Dinos was your favorite?
I think that Skinny Minis is getting close to.
I think that has 7 days left for Skinny Minis.
Skinny Minis is the one
Yeah,
that was
so
like
if you're
the
into
s-
RPG
the
style
plastic
games,
acrylic-y like standees that are like super highly detailed, and
yeah,
they kind of remind me like Shrinky Dinks if you had those as a kid. They look really, really nice, and it's done really well. It's a really big campaign,
And
so I think
for-
definitely worth it.
everybody that's watching, what was your guys' favorite game that we talked about today? Because I'm gonna have to say Roman Roll, I think, was my favorite out of all of these.
See, that was
I'm
like my
so
second.
excited. Yeah, so excited to try this game and like go through the aspects of the building with it.
But
And I
is that
love
bec-
roll and write
Is
style
that because
games.
it's actually your favorite, or is that because like the Gamelyn games we've backed all of them so far, so it almost just seems like it's a non. Like we could have not talked about it, and we would have still backed it.
Well, absolutely. I think that dinosaur themed games are cute, but I think you like dinosaur themed games more than I do.
Okay.
Like that's more of a driver for you, I'm
Okay.
not saying that it's like a terrible theme or anything because I think,
Right.
oh yeah, dinosaurs cool and breaking out, but I feel like it's been a lot of dinosaur related games lately
But have you played a lot of
within this-
dinosaur-related games?
within this last year.
Putting
We've
you on
backed
the
a lot.
spot.
We've backed a lot of dinosaur
We
related
have
games.
backed a lot.
Well,
'cause
we
have
played the
Welcome to
little
Dino
roll
World,
and write.
and
Yeah,
then we
Welcome to
played
Dino.
Dinosaur Island,
That's right.
but we still haven't played Dinosaur Island or Dinogenics. But we did fully back Dinogenics.
Yeah, we're waiting. We're
So-
waiting on Dinogenics.
Right, and I did have that worry too that this one might feel too similar to like Dinogenics or something like that. But we really won't know until we get it. And for
But I think-
$25, like who really cares?
I was gonna say I think you'll get like your lighter version and then like a much more intense gamer version. So you
Right,
can
'cause
have
this one's gonna be
Dinogenics.
45 minutes, where Dinogenics is going to be more like an hour and a half at
Right.
least.
So you can have like your dinosaur, your Tiny Epic Dinosaurs as a game that like you play with everybody, and then you go ahead and can branch off and be like, all right, do you like more games with rolling? Okay, play Dinosaur Island. Do you like games with more placement and stuff? You want to do Dinogenics. But those are a little bit more gamery games, right? And Shumflet says Calico for me. Jimmy says I'll probably look into Fossils and Tiny Epic Dinos, but I do already have Draftosaurus. Oh, there we go. We played Draftosaurus.
Draftosaurus is fun though, and it was inexpensive
Yes.
too.
And that's a cute, really
But
fast
it's
game
a
to
dinosaur
introduce to
drafting
people.
game, so it's like kind of doesn't feel like it's in the same kind of genre. I mean, the genre is the same, but it doesn't feel like it's the same type of game.
Battle cry. Back to Time of
Woo.
Legends Destinies after our
Aliens
last
Homicide
video.
2.0.
Yes, so no more for me. So
Oh.
help me God.
You say that.
And Michael says Tiny Epic Dinos, which I believe as soon as we mentioned it, he was like, backed.
Yeah.
Coming
Yeah, I mean,
out of
we're
the
gonna
gate.
do Tiny Epic Dinos for sure, and it sounds like Roland Wright for sure, Roman Wright. I think it'll just be the other two, and kind of deciding that out. But ultimately, I mean, if it's in the budget, we'll probably get them. So
Aw, yeah. That was just a verification of like, yeah, you can get them all. That's what I heard.
that is not what I said.
Well,
Can't
thank
back
you.
everything on every show.
Thank
Woo.
you, everybody who joined us today. I know Essen is coming up, and there's some people out of town and going different places and everything. Everybody's so busy
Yeah.
this week. Like, it's
But
crazy.
if you need a break, you can check out our Sunday show and watch us play stuff
Ooh,
live.
That's
And
right.
we have Irish Gauge set up, but since we need to look for an alternate, if that doesn't work out, we might do something like War of the Worlds or something, because she hasn't.
Oh,
gotten to play it yet.
definitely. Yeah, we're going to have more lined up and everything. So we're going to be doing on Mondays, Magic Mondays. Wednesdays, we're going to be doing app-based games, or digital board games. On Sundays, we're going to be doing playthroughs, and then our regular Kickstarter show every Friday. So we're adding lots of new content to our show for you guys, so you guys get to see all the cool new stuff that we're playing and everything. It's a little bit easier to play the stuff and talk about it rather than just do like a talking about it video, because I think it's more exciting. And plus,
Right.
I like beating DrGloryhogg in games. So
She's happy she won once on camera.
yes.
And Skull Hollow, which I still really enjoyed Skull Hollow. I would play Skull Hollow again.
That's right. It was really good. It was really good, guys. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys all next week.